distinguished guests, and to everyone, a very warm and dry welcome to you all as we gather here today to mark a remarkable milestone, the 30th anniversary of Teesdale Aviation Day. 3 decades ago, this event was created to research, record and share the rich aviation history of Teesdale, the Pennines and the Yorkshire Dales. An event devised to bring HMP Dearbolt closer to the surrounding community, and in doing so, it has helped educate generations of young people, preserve extraordinary stories, and honour those who bravely shaped our skies. It makes us so proud that still today we can inspire and pass on our community history to the next generation of young people who we hope will be inspired to take these stories forward into their lives. I'm sure you'll all agree our 30th anniversary is no small feat. It is a tremendous achievement by everyone involved over the years. Before we begin our formal proceedings, it is my honour to welcome several esteemed guests. Dame Sue Snowden, DCVO, His Majesty's Lord Lieutenant of County Durham, Air Commodore Adam Sansom, the RAF's Regional Air Officer for the North of East England, Wing Commander William Blencow, RAF Leeming, Governor Melanie Stobbart, HMP Dearbolt, His Worship Mayor of Barnard Castle, Councillor Paul Ing, representatives of the region's RAF Cadet Unit, Wing Commander Graham Blackie, Mr Martin Pepper, the Second Master of Barnard Castle School, and Mr Mark Robson, Barnard Castle School Combined Cadet Force, and from St Mary's Church, Reverend Canon Alec Harding. Today is not just about our anniversary. This year it also marks 85 years since the Battle of Britain, a defining moment in our national history, and so we are deeply privileged to be joined today by 2 families of those RAF pilots who courageously fought throughout the Battle of Britain. These families carry forward the living legacy of that time. Please join me in warmly welcoming Mr and Mrs John and Jerry Shipman. John is the son of Wing Commander Edward Shipman, Mrs Shirley Wilson, daughter of Squadron Leader Ben Bennions DFC, and Mr David Wilson, grandson of Squadron Leader Ben Bennions. I believe this may be the first time these families have ever been together in the same place at the same time, and we are truly honoured by your presence today. As you are about to find out, these brave RAF pilots played a crucial role in protecting Barnard Castle, County Durham, and the wider North East region from the ravages of war. Let me set the scene for you. It's the summer of 1940, during World War II. In July, Germany launched a massive aerial campaign which would become known as the Battle of Britain. Their goal was to destroy the Royal Air Force, gain air superiority and then launch Operation Sea Lion, a planned invasion of the United Kingdom. The Luftwaffe were instructed to bomb airfields, radar stations, infrastructure, towns and cities. Of course, September the 15th would be the day we recognise as Battle of Britain Day, and this day saw the largest attack of the campaign, but we will concentrate on a day which the Luftwaffe came to call Black Thursday. On Thursday, the 15th of August 1914, believing the RAF was on the brink of collapse, the Germans sent over 2,000 sorties across multiple regions, including the north of England, and a miscalculated move based on faulty intelligence and underestimated RAF strength in this area. Instead of catching the RAF off guard, the Luftwaffe suffered heavy losses especially over northern and northeastern areas of England, where fighter defences were stronger than expected. Germany lost 76 aircraft, compared to 34 RAF losses, marking it as a disastrous day for the Luftwaffe, hence their nickname Black Thursday. It was a turning point that exposed the flaws in Germany's strategy and reinforced the resilience of Britain's air defences. Though Barnard Castle was spared much of the physical devastation of this campaign, there was one day that brought the war to its doorstep. A day that would be remembered by all who lived here and many thousands of military personnel training in this area. It was the day the Battle of Britain came to Barnard Castle. It was an extraordinary tale of bravery, skill and human spirit, not only of the RAF pilots of 41 Squadron at RAF Cadet, but also of the Luftwaffe crew involved in this encounter. Now gives me great pleasure to introduce Air Commodore Adam Sampson, the RAF's Regional Air Officer for the North of England.
Lord Lieutenant, ladies and gentlemen, cadets. Chris asked me to give a story of what happened on the 15th of August 1940. So I've got 4 minutes of telling you what you have just heard, far better than I could have ever told you, from the cadets themselves. So it allows me to throw away at least 3 sheets of the 4 pages I have here. What I would say is that following the story that you've heard, following the conflict, following hearing about young men literally fighting for their lives above the skies of Barnard Castle, we need to reflect that even in this life and death struggle, stories of humanity emerge. Both Kathleen and Falk were taken prisoner and spent the rest of the war in captivity. But decades later, after the war, former enemies met again. Not as foes, but as men shared by a bound experience. Hans Ulrich Kathleen and Ted Shipman came together in reconciliation and respect. Their post-war meetings remind us that remembrance must carry the hope of peace and understanding, transcending the divisions of the past. And what then does their story mean for us today? For the Royal Air Force, for Teesdale, and for our wider nation? Well, for the RAF, they are part of our rich heritage, a constant reminder of the courage and sacrifice that was made and the responsibility to honour the example set by those who flew before. For Britain, the stories embody the resilience, the unity, and the determination that saw us through our darkest hours. And for Teesdale, it's a source of lasting pride that this community, though far from the front lines, played its full part in the defence of Britain. So as we celebrate 30 years of Teesdale Aviation Day, let us honour not only the bravery of the few, but also the enduring spirit of the community which has kept alive the rich tapestry of local aviation history. And today, as we reflect on 85 years since the Battle of Britain, let's pledge to keep alive those memories and learn the lessons for generations to come, so that the values of courage, unity and hope continue to shape our nation. Thank you.
Now, let's move on to the second part of our service. In 1995, a new chapter began at HMP Diebold, when the then Governor, Mr Peter Atkinson, challenged his senior team to forge closer ties between the prison and the wider Teesdale community. Principal Officer Tony Galley rose to the occasion. Inspired by his passion for the community of Teesdale and Barnard Castle, he partnered with Senior Officer John Yorker with his love and passion for aviation history, especially in this area. Together they envisioned what would become Teesdale Aviation Day, an enduring tribute to those who once flew through these skies. Supported by many along the way, including those already here from our founder's stone, Bill Eden and his wife Lella Eden, and including Lord Raby, not forgetting Frank Smith, who still supports us to this day. This became a day of remembrance, a way to ensure that the stories of these aviators, some of whom gave their lives in service to their country, are not forgotten. Stories that might otherwise have been left in old logbooks or archived documents have been brought to life year after year on Dearbolt Bank and at the Memorial Gardens. Tony's work with Barnard Castle Town Council to bring these memorial stones to the Galgate Memorial Gardens from Dearbolt Bank has created a lasting legacy. To the airmen, to their sacrifice, and to those like Tony who dedicated themselves to keeping their memories alive. To mark that community spirit, the Council presented the prestigious award and title of Civic Champion to him, and today, proudly, a place on the Founder's Stone, which really brings his work full circle. It is now my pleasure to invite Melanie Stobbart, the current Governor of HMP Dearbolt, to say a few words about Tony.
Honoured guests, friends, colleagues, members of the Galley family, I'm delighted to have been asked to speak to you today as we remember the life of Tony Galley, a remarkable man whose influence on HMP and YY Dearbolt, and indeed the wider community of Teesdale, will be felt for generations to come. But Tony was never a man to seek the limelight. Actually, I think that's quite wrong, because I'm told he was a quiz master, a charity fundraiser, a Barnard Castle cricket player, an umpire. He played dominoes. He was Dearbolt football team goalkeeper, and he was often in the Teesdale Mercury, giving many updates on prison life and community events. But it's in Teesdale, in Barnard Castle, in the community gardens, where his impact from the Aviation Day work will shine most brightly. Tony joined the prison service with a fierce commitment to public service. For him, it was not just a job, it was an opportunity to guide young people and to lead by example. He was respected, he was reliable, and he was quietly revolutionary. He championed ideas in vocational training and personal development. And his personal work on the Enhanced Regime Wing in Dearbolt earned himself a prestigious Butler Trust Award. These awards are not easy to come by and are presented by Princess Anne herself. But Tony's reward was actually seeing those young men walk out of Dearbolt with a sense of pride, purpose and a future. It's his work outside the gates that complements beautifully the work that he did inside it. And has been discussed, it was our governor at the time, Peter Atkinson, who challenged him to build a bridge between Dearbolt and the community, something which him and his colleague John Yarker did in the foundation of Teesdale Aviation Day. And what began as a day of learning has turned into a continued remembrance for the whole community. He wasn't a historian, that was John's realm, but he was a storyteller, a showman, and someone who could bring people together. And he did that, and it's thanks to him and his energy, his determination, and his unshakable belief in the value of remembrance that this day actually took flight. And it's thanks to his efforts and your continued ones that it's continued to grow, and it proudly remains part of Barnard Castle's community and a permanent memorial to the town. Tony Galley was many things. He was a proud Yorkshireman, a deeply committed officer, a loving husband to Enid, brother to Glyn, devoted father to Chris and Claire, and an adoring grandfather to Chloe and Nathan. But across Dearbolt, we'll remember him as a committed member of staff who gave us a legacy rooted not just in duty but also in connection. Today, as we honour his life, we'll never forget that one man with a clear purpose and a kind heart that's left behind something truly lasting. Tony, thank you for the work that you've done, for the example that you've set, for the doors that you've opened, and for the memories, the laughter and the legacy that you've left behind and that will remain long after us into the future. You are part of Diebold. You will always be part of Diebold. Thank you.
Right, for the difficult and challenging thing to stand up there and speak these stories and explain the story and really bring it to life by all 5 of our team today really deserves something from us to them to recognise their hard work today. So if I can have Cadet Barnaby Tiplady. Where is he? There he is. Yep, so
I have to see what's in there, We've got to have a look and see what's in here, haven't we? It's a real goodie bag.
it is a real goodie bag, you're right. So the first thing is a Spitfire manual. So you, having read all of that, will be able to fly that Spitfire that's out there.
There we have number 2.
A military colouring book, which is awesome. And and there are 5 of these. This has been gifted to us and now to you from Mr. John Shipman, who wrote a book about his father's exploits. So you've got that to read as well. So there's 5 of them. Thank you, John.
And put those in there. Well done, you.
Thank you very much. Cadet George Brown.
Now we know what's in. So you're all right.
Well done, George. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Lance Corporal William Jackson Ward. Hold on, mate. Now this one is slightly different.
Oh,
because you told more of a Messerschmitt story. So there is the complete guide of Messerschmitts in that as well. So as well as the same for the other book.
You know,
Well, thank you very much.
well done.
And Cadet Tom Staley.
Well done, Tom. I think this could be for you.
Right.
It's a
So-
really interesting goodie bag.
The same book for delivering such an amazing monologue from Mr. Shipman about his father. For you, Alfie.
Well done, Alfie. Well done. My goodness, there's more. There's more coming.
Now this is really quite special. This is a minor miracle. So Alan Bide, who Alfie's just told the story of, is now 97 years old and lives in a tiny village called Picton in the middle of nowhere in New Zealand. And we've managed to get Alan to print off a copy of the monologue that you've just read. He signed it and dated it. And not only that, he's written a message on the back for you personally as well. And that's great.
That is something to treasure.
Thank you very much.
So, as we draw this part of the day to a close, I would like to extend heartfelt thanks to all our honoured guests and to each one of you who have joined us today to pay tribute. And so, with pride and purpose, Teesdale Aviation Day embarks upon its next decade of remembrance, research and education. A special thank you to the garden volunteers and to the garden team at Diebold, to the Town Council Clerk Martin Clark for his work to bring today together for us, to Mark Rumble who has brought the display area to life, and to Squadron Leader Graham Blout and his colleagues for bringing all those fine RAF cadets here today to celebrate with us. And also just a little mention of Bharat, They've been with us year after year. That's the men who talk to people all over the world via radio. Thank you for joining us year on year. And we now invite you all to enjoy the display site, where you'll find our exhibitions and displays and have a chance to learn more about the incredible stories we've shared today.